Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your AEW Double or Nothing 2022 preview and predictions. We have got 13 total matches here that we will be predicting. 12 of which we will be live reacting to tomorrow, and I say only 12 out of 13 because one is on the pre-show, and that is the first match that we're going to get to predicting. But until then, let's just talk about this card as a whole. John, what is your hype level for Double or Nothing 2022?
I'll tell you, man, from two different vantage points. If we're looking at this, and I used to say this when we were recovering AEW the first time around. If we were looking at this like it was a PWG card, and they're all about the wrestling and the work rate and all that stuff, I would say I might even be a solid 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 for this, because there are a lot of matches that just from an in-ring standpoint I think are going to be great. From a story standpoint, I'm just going to speak my truth. It's not that it's been terrible, but I think there are some matches whose stories I'm either checked out of or whose stories could have been better. And in the latter category, I absolutely put Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, which I think is going to be carried by the in-ring excellence. So I think if we were looking at it from a story perspective, I'd put it at a modest 7. So on the whole, yeah, I think I come out to I'll say an 8, 8.5 overall for this show. How are you feeling about it?
I am at pretty much half a point lower than you. I am kind of straddling between 7.5 and 8. And I think a lot of it is like the story stuff that you were talking about, because I think that they are going to find a way to do the dumbest bullshit possible with the MJF Wardlow match, when that really should be like a really amazing, cathartic, dominant win for Wardlow. But of course, they're going to do fuck shit with it. And then like the two Owen Hart Foundation tournament champion or finals, I feel more apprehension towards those than excitement. And I feel like that's a really unfortunate thing, because I should be excited just because we're getting Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, and that's just a thing that I should be excited for. Even if, of course, they kind of botched it with Britt being in the finals, and I don't think many people would disagree with that. And the people who would disagree with that, quite frankly, I don't personally value their opinion very much. Um,
Damn.
well, at the end of the day, that's the thing. Like, you can have your opinion, and I can value or not value your opinion personally. And in my opinion, if you think Britt Baker is really fucking good at this, that's just not an opinion that I value then. Like, that, to me, that devalues your opinion in my mind, if you genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I can understand that, man.
Um, I'm not saying it's invalid. I'm just saying that I personally can't get along with that. I can't understand that.
Right.
I can't like grasp the way that you see that. But that being said, I am very excited for the other women's match on this card, Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. That's going to be dope. It's really unfortunate that the build to that has been so lackluster, because they've gotten so little TV time, because Tony has to give time every single fucking episode of television to Dan Lambert and Britt Baker. I don't get it, but regardless, calming down. Like I said, we've got a lot of really, really good matches on the show. I'm worried that we're getting a lot of fuck finishes, a lot of stupid shit. Believe it or not, let me see here. I think the singular match that I'm the most excited for on this entire show is the 6-man between House of Black and Death Triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the quintessential work rate, spot vest kind of match in the best way. Like, that is going to be insane to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I completely agree.
All right. Let us get into our predictions now, with the first match that we will be predicting being, of course, the pre-show match. We've got Hookhausen. Of course, that being Hook and Danhausen teaming up for the first time, I believe, versus the team of Tony Nese and his manager, Smart Mark Sterling.
You know what? I like Hook. I can see what the buzz is about. Wake me up when this dude steps to Scorpio Sky for his first title, because I think they're going to do the slow build with him. I think he's going to win this by himself. I don't even think Danhausen's going to be in the match. What I think is going to happen, in truth, is I think Danhausen's going to be on the apron and he's going to curse like Nese or Sterling or something, but he's never going to be legally in the match. Hook's practically going to do this 1v2. Hookhausen for the win. Easy call.
You know what? While we agree that Hookhausen wins here, I do think that we could get some kind of interaction between Danhausen and specifically Smart Mark Sterling.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair.
Because Danhausen in the ring with Tony Nese. I mean, it's a bit of a mismatch in favor of Nese as far as like just like physical presence goes. But you put him in the ring with Smart Mark Sterling, and suddenly it feels like much more of an even playing field. And at that point, the comedy stuff can really thrive, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if that ended up actually being the finish of the match. So yeah, let's move on though. First match on the main card for us is simple. It's just going to be Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin because there's no real story behind this. There are no tangible repercussions for this match. There's no real reason for either one of these guys to want to win other than just I'm better than you kind of thing.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Kyle O'Reilly, and this is just because I have a personal distaste for Darby Allin.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you
it's definitely a subjective pick for sure.
Well, for me, he just got done losing to Samoa Joe, and I feel like they'll want to give Kyle some heat back, because they are
to be fair,
part of a
Darby
faction.
Allin just got done losing to Jeff Hardy.
But here's the thing. I feel like Kyle being with the Undisputed Elite, if Cole wins the finals, they may want to gear that faction up again. Maybe they'll even have Red Dragon go after the tag titles. I just don't see Kyle suffering another loss here personally, so I'm going with O'Reilly for the win.
I'm going to pick Darby Allin because I don't think that AEW sees Kyle O'Reilly as like the borderline main event level player that NXT treated him like. And I think they do see that in Darby. So I'm going to pick Darby.
Well, Darby has been regarded as a pillar, so I can understand
yeah,
where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was even going to mention earlier, you know how they have like the 4 pillars with Darby, MJF, Jungle Boy, and Sammy?
Yeah.
They also have what they like to refer to as the 4 killers. Hook, Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, nice.
So I just think it's cool that Hook is kind of a part of one of those groups too. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if Hook became one of the pillars within the next couple of years, because like CM Punk already kind of like hinted at the idea that Bret replaced MJF as a pillar. I wouldn't be surprised if Hook was actually like a pillar of the company in the next few years. All that being said, though, let's move on to our next match. So we have our first disagreement of the night, though, and I think that's really cool. That's really exciting to me. I believe the next match that we're going to be talking about is going to be the Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks, because this is another match where it's pretty much just a vanity match. It's just like a dream match to some people, even though it's literally already happened, and it's probably happened more times than I'm even aware of. But this literally, do you remember the crazy WrestleMania moment when the New Day came out and they were like, oh, you have another opponent, and they started stepping up like it was going to be them, and then the Hardy Boys music played and it turned out it was them?
Yeah.
Literally the night before that, the Hardy Boys wrestled the fucking Young Bucks. I think it was for Ring of
Honor. Did they win that match, or do you remember the result of it?
I didn't watch the match. I'm just aware of its existence.
Fair enough. So yeah, I really don't care about this. Young Bucks should win to me because the Hardys are such an old team, and kind of passing the torch, acknowledging that the Young Bucks has been kind of this generation's Hardys for a lot of people, I think. But Jeff is still ridiculously over though, and the Hardys as an entity still seem very strongly over. So I'm actually going to go with the Hardys to win here. It makes me sick, but that's genuinely what I think is going to happen. They're going to find some way to beat the Bucks. And maybe they'll even challenge for the AEW tag titles against the winner of the triple threat, whoever that happens to be.
Javaris just said it was a ladder war for the tag titles, and the Bucks won, obviously, because then the Hardys showed up in WWE.
Yeah, okay.
Does that change your opinion at all, or does that make you double down?
No, I'm still going to say Hardys personally, because I can see them challenging for the tag because I think AEW is going to want to milk that nostalgia pop and like, oh, can the Hardys, can they do it? Can they really complete their journey as the greatest tag team ever? Can they win the AEW tag titles? And I think to prove that they can narratively, they'd have to beat the Bucks.
Yeah. You know what? I was leaning Bucks on this, but you've convinced me, and yeah, I'm switching sides. I'm going to pick the Hardys to win.
All right, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I really was. I was like leaning like, oh, it's the Bucks. It might as well be their company. Like, of course they're going to win the match, and it's going to be like an initiation for the Hardy Boys, and they're going to be like, oh, welcome to AEW. Welcome to our stomping grounds. Maybe you can get a win some other time, kids, and just kind of be heels because that's what the Hardys or the Bucks are. But no, yeah, you're right. I do think it does seem more likely that the Hardy Boys are going to win because, like you said, it really does seem like AEW has an agenda with them going after the tag titles, and you're not going to lose your way into that, right?
No, and I think they even cut a promo about wanting to prove themselves in AEW definitively as the greatest tag team ever,
Complete
and I
their
think they
collection.
mentioned the tag
Yeah.
titles. Yeah, exactly. So to me, you're not even going to get that quest off the ground until you beat the Bucks. And again, I hate it because Bucks should win. I want to circle back to that so nobody loses that point. They should win. I just think the Hardys are going to win because AEW is privileging this narrative over what's actually present in their company right now, and who's still incredibly hot in their own right in the Young Bucks. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this match.
All right, let's get into our next match then. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the match that I'm most looking forward to on this card, Death Triangle versus House of Black. Just to go over all the competitors in this, because this is fucking insane to me. We have got Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews versus Rey Fenix, Penta El... What is it? Oh, shit. I don't remember what it is. Let me see if I can find it online real quick. Oh, Penta Oscuro. That's what it was. It's literally just Pentagon Dark, basically. Oscuro is dark in Spanish. And Pac, though, like this match is this is a PWG dream match. This is a match that you could have go 25, 30 minutes in PWG, and literally no one would complain, and it would get like people throwing dollar bills into the ring afterwards. It would be that fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I normally hate this saying because I think it can be cringe at times, but we really are the winners of this thing.
Yeah.
If we're preview and predicting, like I fucking win watching this. God, but see, again, in one way, I've actually liked the story in the head games that these guys have played. So I'm not going to say the story's been weak, but like House of Black seems to be kind of in a weird place to me because I thought they were going to recruit Julia. We all thought it. That didn't happen. And Death Triangle, yet, which I feel like they should have pulled the trigger, right then and there, but,
Agreed.
Whatever. Death Triangle's been looking good. I mean, Phoenix being back, he looks fantastic. But I feel like, again, narratively, House of Black definitely has the feel of a more heel faction. I'm personally looking forward to the day that Malachi challenges for the world title. I don't know what y'all think. I think the dude's fucking excellent. If Paige would get past Punk, or they would want to keep Punk as babyface for a while, we're gonna probably have a lot to say about the world title. Just spitballing here. I think Malachi would be a great either next challenger for Paige or first challenger for Punk. I see a lot in that dude. I always have. So given that I would like to see House of Black kind of run roughshod, I'm inclined to pick them. However, Death Triangle sans Phoenix lost the last time these two teams were in the ring together. I would love if there was kind of an in-ring story where Phoenix was the difference maker.
Agreed.
So I'm really torn on this one, actually.
I'm not torn at all. I'm picking Death Triangle for that exact reason, and then we get a rubber match, and that's when I feel like it's more up in the air.
Yeah, I think I can agree, because nobody's going to complain about seeing this again. Nobody. And if you do, I mean, that's totally fair. That's your opinion, but I'm certainly not. Yeah. So tentatively, I'll agree with you. I'll say Death Triangle.
Okay. That's just that? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right. Let's get into our next match then. Our next match being Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay for the AEW TBS Championship. This match didn't need to be on this card. This match has no reason to be on this card. Anna Jay did literally nothing to earn contendership. It would be significantly better if this was somebody who actually felt like they deserved to challenge Jade for the title. But for some reason, Tony just absolutely loves Tay Conti and Anna Jay, and consistently puts them in spots that they probably don't deserve because they're fucking hot. What can I say?
I will say I feel bad for Anna Jay to a point. I think people can be assholes because I saw her tweet that, you guys can be really shitty on here. I'm going to work my hardest tomorrow. So I feel like a lot of people share similar.
I just think Tony's fucking blind.
No, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying I feel like people take those sentiments that you have, crank them up to 11, and then tell them to her face. And I think that's kind of a dick move.
Fucked up.
Yeah. That said, and I just wanted to preface that because like you, I'm underwhelmed by this match. Yeah, I'm underwhelmed by this match.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say easy win for Cargill.
Yeah.
Like, no reason to break the streak here. No reason to break her streak here or her aura here. Like, yeah, to me, and this is the biggest compliment I could give Jade, she seems to be getting better slowly with each match, and she really is making that TBS championship feel like it means something. I think the moment you would have her, if she would lose in a match like this, I'm not saying she is. Obviously, we both
A
agree
lot of
that she
people
isn't.
lately thinking that Chris Statlander is going to be the one to take that title off of her. I'm hoping it's Jamie Hayter. I could see it being either one, and I'd probably be happy either way. But I mean, I like Chris obviously, but I really hope it's Jamie.
Yeah, that'd be great. Whoever it goes to, they need to be able to continue to build upon the work that Jade has started.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that, respectfully, being Anna Jay. So, yeah,
Right.
Jade Cargill, easy win here.
All right, excellent. Let's get into our next match prediction then. That being America's top team, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Paige VanZant, versus Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Tay Conti. If America's top team wins, Guevara and Kazarian are no longer allowed to challenge the AEW for the AEW TNT Championship as long as Scorpio Sky holds it.
You know what? I'm going with the heels here.
Yeah.
I am. I don't see
This
why
to me
Sammy.
is like
Yeah.
a fucking please. Like, please take the possibility of Guevara and Kazarian challenging Scorpio specifically for that title off the table. Please do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Scorpio can be a really great heel champion, but he needs some diversity, and
Well, and
this
he
is the way
needs
to break the circle
space.
jerk.
He needs to get away from these two guys that can't figure out whether they're face or heel in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you and I are in strong agreement here. America's top team for the
Put
win.
Scorpio Sky up against Lee Moriarty and watch the sparks fly, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's what a mid card championship should be for. There are other guys that really need to be elevated. Because, see, to me, Sammy's already been a multi time TNT champion. He said, to me, honestly, if I'm Sammy, I'm looking for an upper card feud to kind of get to that main event level.
Yeah.
And if I'm Kazarian, he's already, I don't want to say he's already had his career and try and push him out the door, but he is an older guy. Like, work with the younger guys, kind of put them over. He should be in his 40s by now, I thought. Early
Frankie
40s.
Kazarian, oh, wow, he's 44. Damn.
So mid 40s practically. Jesus Christ.
And he's going to be 45 in August.
I'm not trying to push him out the door because we've seen so many wrestlers today competing at that age and at that level, and he still looked good in the match against Sky, but he should be transitioning, working with those up-and-coming acts, and Scorpio should be working with mid-carders. Like, there's a place for everybody here.
Christian Cage can still put on the quality of matches that he does at 48, we can give Frankie Kazarian a break, but we've also got to take into account Christian barely even wrestles anymore. He's in more of a managerial role right now.
Exactly. So I feel like everybody has a place here in this company. It's just not incessantly mingling with each other. So yeah, America's top team for the win. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came as a result of Paige beating Tay Conti just to kind of really make her mark to start with America's top team. Because I think they'll want to get some buzz on her soon enough. Maybe she'll even be a future challenger for Jade. So yeah.
That would be really interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Paige VanZant is like known. Like, she's not just some nobody coming in, trying to break some ground, trying to, find her way. Like, this is a woman who has a following, who has a fan base, who has, a history. I think she was in UFC, and now, like, I think maybe the thing that she's best known for right now is her OnlyFans. And, like, she's fucking hustling, man. She's doing a great job. And, like, she shows up here in AEW, probably brings a lot of eyes to the product. And yeah, it would make a lot of sense for her to be in that kind of spot going against Jade. I would expect her to lose that match, but I genuinely do see where you're coming from there. And I think that it would be really beneficial to kind of push her without pushing her too hard. Like, you give her big spotlights without giving her any like major accomplishments early on.
Right. And really, it all depends. Like, if she shows that she hits the ground running, if she's more Baszler than Rousey, right, then we can reopen up the conversation.
Exactly. Yes.
But
push her don't push her like Ronda on the main roster or like Shayna in NXT. Push her like Shayna on the main roster.
Yeah. God,
well, maybe not the way that she was pushed right away, because if I remember correctly, she got pushed fucking hard. Like, didn't she literally eliminate every single woman in an elimination chamber one time?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe let's not push her that hard either. Chill out.
Yeah. But
Especially
yeah,
because I don't
America's
think that
tough
she
even to
had
win.
as successful of a UFC career as either one of those women.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah, she's yeah. All right, let's move on. Our next match, and just to be clear, we do agree there. America's top team for the win.
Yes, yes.
Next match, we're going to talk about Anarchy in the Arena. Jericho Appreciation Society. Just to go over the names, it's Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, and the fucking 2.0 guys. I'm not going to figure out what the hell their names are. They're stupid. Versus Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley.
This is another kind of tough one for me to call personally. I mean, on the one hand, this is the first really big match for the Jericho Appreciation Society. And, they are the heel faction, so you'd want to get some heat behind them, beating a strong group of babyfaces,
I could see
especially
them pinning Eddie just because didn't Eddie literally just beat Jericho in singles on the last pay-per-view?
He did,
So yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna just make my pick right now. I'm gonna pick Jericho Appreciation Society. I'm not gonna specifically say who's gonna win on Jericho Appreciation Society side. It'll probably just be Jericho, but I'm not gonna lock that in. But I will lock in that Eddie Kingston's gonna be the reason that his team loses.
Okay. I was going to say on the babyface side, they have the out of there being discord. We know that Danielson and Kingston don't like each other, for instance.
I could see it actually curtailing into, into a feud between those guys because Danielson's pissed that Eddie cost BCC their undefeated record.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That could be very interesting. And then I don't know what JAS does after that. See, really, to me, again, I think about the main event picture, the world title, because Jericho, after winning with his team, might be like, okay, now that we took care of those scrubs, I want the world title back. I was the first AEW champion. I was the greatest AEW champion. And I want to do it again.
Yeah, I can
so yeah, it's tough, man, because there's so much to consider. But I think I am gonna go Jericho Appreciation Society to even my own surprise, because I think up until now I was leaning Kingston's team, but I think I'll go Jericho Appreciation Society.
Damn, that's awesome. All right, next pick. Next match, I should say, is going to be Jurassic Express versus Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This is probably my second most anticipated match on the show. So it's two six-man tags with different compositions that I'm most looking forward to. House of Black versus Death Triangle being one, this being number two. Jurassic Express represented by Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Team Taz represented by Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. And of course, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. This match is going to be incredible, I think. This is like borderline like 5-star match fodder kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be immense fun for everybody to witness. We already saw Jurassic Express in a really fun triple threat tag match against the Bucks and Red Dragon at the last pay-per-view, and they won that match. I don't think they're going to win here. I've had a feeling that their title reign is going to come to an end, and I think shortly after that, Christian's going to stop mentoring them. Now, I don't know if the two guys will stay together. I feel like they will, but, who knows? But I just know that Jungle Boy seems to be getting really strong pops. He seems to be a strong babyface. And Luchasaurus, man. God, I still get, like, late 90s Kane vibes with that fucking dude. If you put that dude in the world title picture tomorrow with no explanation, I would not protest at all. And I know normally I would with a lot of guys, even ones that I like, but with him I'd be like, no, you know what? Anytime he wants it, like that, he could take it. I really feel like they should just go with Swerve and Keith here. You got to give them something. They got the buzz around him right now. I think people are excited for him. You got to let them know, and by them I mean the fans. AEW's got to let them know we're serious about him. We're going to do something with them. We have a plan.
Does putting the tag titles on them say that, though?
I mean, to me at least, it would say we know what we have here and we value them. Because I don't understand why you'd put two guys, to me, that are really exemplary singles acts, only for them to not succeed in this tag endeavor. Because then why did we even go on this journey?
Yeah, I get
don't
what
know.
You're saying. I just can't, like, it's... I want more for them. I want them to be single stars. I don't want them to be a successful tag team because I want them to be successful individually. You know what I mean?
And I totally get that, man. I totally get that. I just, to me, it's between Team Taz and this team. Because again, I don't personally. Maybe you'll be like, "Oh, I am picking Jurassic Express to retain." I'm not. For me, it's a matter of, am I going to go with Team Taz? And I do like Hobbs, and I would love to see him with some
Now, you know
hardware.
what? I realized something. Every time I ask for a wrestling company to not put tag titles on two performers that I want to be successful as individuals, it just fucking happens anyway, and they have a great tag title run, and then it gets taken away, and then they get squandered anyway. So I'm going to enjoy it while I get it, and I'm going to pick Keith and Swerve as well.
All right, interesting. Now, I haven't locked in Keith and Swerve yet because I really want to think about this. Ricky Starks already has the FTW title, but like technically it's not a championship, but it is.
He defends it though, so I would consider it a real
title. Yeah. It would be good for them, but see, then again, I feel like they've been getting one up, unlike everybody, because we retained against Jungle Boy, and then I know they got that tag win over Keith and Swerve after Hobbs hit the fucking spinebuster on Keith.
God,
I thought that
was
kind of
not get Luchasaurus versus Hobbs versus Lee on Friday. That's what I want.
Yeah, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity
Seriously.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I caught it. Sweet. Mosquito. So yeah, I think I think with consideration of all that, yeah, I think it's got to go to Keith and Swerve. So I think I am going to lock that in as well. I know I took a more scenic route there, but I am just thinking again, the Team Taz, why I'm disqualifying them, they've gotten the leg up on both of these teams in different ways. And so I'm kind of disqualifying them there. Yeah, I'll go Keith Swerve. Watch fucking Jurassic Express retain, and then I have no idea who beats them for the tag titles. So,
I mean BCC, right?
BCC or FTR, since they're just going around and they're wanting to belt collect and be the greatest tag team. That's it.
Or
BCC
or
or FTR.
Team, that's true.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe Gorillas of Destiny.
That would be interesting.
All right, next up, I want to say the women's title match. Yep, Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb.
Man, I love Rosa to death. Deeb gets a lot of hate online because allegedly she's married to Marty Scurll, and we know the shit that he got into. I have not seen anything about that, and I'm not going to try and hold that against the woman. It's whatever to me. I think she's a great performer.
I mean, shit, if Marty Scurll married Serena, maybe we could say that he's changed, because like the whole thing with him was that he was like flirting with and making sexual advances towards teenage girls.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, way to date and fucking marry in your age group, Marty.
Yeah. I mean, unironically though, like it's
unironically though, yeah.
You don't have to say that at all because it should just be implied. But like, hey, maybe that's a good sign that he's changed.
Yeah, maybe that's a good sign he's got his shit together. So yeah. I don't want to hold it against her. I try not to like partake in that whole culture or whatever. I try and be more nuanced, that kind of stuff. But regardless,
I am still absolutely on my fuck Joey Ryan bullshit.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, and really too, like fuck Marty Scurll, but I'm not gonna lump her in with all that. Because I personally think that's unfair, and I think she's been doing amazing work. Now, related to that, I felt bad for her because I felt like she cut a great promo. I want to say 2 weeks ago on Dynamite, where she's talking about everything she had to do. She mentioned the stuff she had to do for WWE, shaving her head and all that stuff.
The Thunder Rosa's response to that was bad.
Thunder Rosa's response to that was bad, and then the crowd whatting Deeb while she was talking about that. Like, I get that she's a heel, but you could be a bit more inspired than what chance to me, so that annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, the way this feud was handled was just so bad.
It could have been so much more, man, and that's the disappointment, because you have Rosa, which, here's the thing, everybody's always talking about, and we talk about it too, to be fair, so I'm not saying that pejoratively.
No, you go ahead. I have an idea.
No. What were we going to say?
Please go.
Okay. We do it too, so I don't say this pejoratively. But everybody's always talking about like who's a draw and who's this, who's that. I'd be curious if Rosa is a draw for Dynamite. Like if she brings any numbers, if there's an uptick. Like we know Sasha Banks for WWE is a draw. Which she may not be anymore, but I don't know. So I would hope that Rose is a draw. Like, I'm rooting for her. I love her. Sweet fucking person. But, like, I say that because if she's a draw, one, it's disrespectful as hell, regardless whether she is or not, honestly, but especially if she is, to cut her off during a promo with music. And then to not really even go deeper because she seems very clearly over in the arena. People seem to like her, like, a lot. And Deeb, I was loving the whole professor segments, the 5-minute challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a really solid fucking heel.
Mm-hmm.
So you have two great forces here. And it just seems like you do nothing with that. It seemed like there was the promise of something when it was like, oh, I'm the best. And the only problem is I'm not holding the title, but I'm going to remedy that. And then Rosa just wanted, like, sometimes the simple storylines are the best. And then I feel like, Deeb wanted to take it more personally to what it means to her, which is great. But like you said, Rosa's response kind of fumbled a little bit. I just feel like this match is going to compensate for all that in the end ring. It's just really a shame when AEW needs stronger women's stories and women's acts and everything else, that the story didn't undergird the in-ring properly and really substantiate it the way that it could have. Yeah. So, now, what were you going to say, friend?
Okay, so what I was going to say was the whole segment where Serena was talking about everything that she did for WWE, where she said, oh, she put breast implants in her body, she shaved her head for that company, all that shit. I wish Thunder Rosa would have let her guard down there and been like, oh wow, I understand that. I actually considered getting breast implants because we literally just got a story come out this fucking week that Thunder Rosa at one point considered getting breast implants. She could have literally gone out of her way to relate to Serena on that, and then have Serena be the heel and fucking use her vulnerability against her to beat the shit out of her. It might be a little too similar to the Punk MJF storyline from earlier, but they could have done enough to differentiate it that it would have been great.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I think that's exactly how it should have been handled.
But instead, they painted
the
way that they cut the promos. Rosa came off as more the heel to me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's like, it's really
Serena
a shame
was
too.
Like, oh, the patriarchy, and then Rosa's just like, personal responsibility.
Yeah, deal with it. I don't know, man. It's a shame because I love them both. I really want this to be good, and I think it will be. But the story did not deliver with how talented both these women are, and that's a shame because, if it was fucking Britt Baker, they probably would have given this more thought and more effort. So I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know.
All right, let's get into our next match, which is MJF versus Wardlow.
I want to go first on this one.
Please do.
Only because there is a big hubbub right now, and it kind of makes me look like an idiot because I was the first one that was like, oh, it's totally a work. There is a big hubbub right now coming out of AEW Fan Fest that MJF no-showed, and AEW had to give fans refunds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is putting Double or Nothing in doubt as far as this match goes, but I'm going to shoot straight with y'all. I don't think MJF... God, maybe nobody should listen to my opinions, but this is just how I see it. He wants a career in the wrestling business, and I do think he wants to go to WWE. I am starting to lean away from It's a Work, but it's not going to look good to WWE either if you don't show at an event, right? It's one thing not showing up at FanFest, which I also think looks bad for the record, but to no show a pay-per-view on top of that, that's really bad to me. So I feel like MJF
literally just went on an entire fucking campaign trying to throw Sasha and Naomi under the bus for walking out after having already been there for an episode of Raw.
Yeah.
Imagine just straight up not showing up for it, a whole ass pay-per-view.
So I'm going to keep this brief. I was always going to make this prediction, but I've made a little bit of an adjustment. Wardlow's going to win. I was always going to predict Wardlow. I personally think, though, as punishment, if this is indeed not a work, I think it's going to be a squash match. That's why I held my tongue at the beginning when you said I think they're going to do stupid shit with this and this should be a dominant, cathartic win for Wardlow. I think in light of FanFest, I think this is going to be a squash. I think they're going to have Wardlow, kayfabe, of course, humiliate MJF and really run through him quickly.
Heard the new rumor now that's like Sean Ross Sapp literally just reported like a couple hours ago?
No.
Not even a couple hours ago. An hour ago. He can confirm a flight out of Las Vegas tonight has been booked for MJF. he might actually no-show the whole pay-per-view. He might not even be there to get squashed.
Holy shit. You know what, man? Because this is a preview and predictions, and we preview and predict a card as we currently see it,
yes,
I am going to say that this match is happening, and I am going to say that this is a squash. However, in light of this information, I feel like I have a right to respond to that information. If MJF, look, I have taken up for MJF more than a lot of people. Even when other stuff came out about him with the whole speaking out thing, and he was kind of like a bully in his younger years, I was still a bit lenient because I'm like, you know what, relative to literal fucking predators and shit, it's not good, but maybe he'll fucking, get mature. We know Orton used to be really immature once upon a time, and now he's like a fucking locker room leader. If you no-show this fucking show, though, I've really even got to say that's messed up. Whether you like AEW or not, this was one of the bigger stories in my mind on this show. And the thing is, MJF, if you really, and I don't want to moralize or whatever, but if you really love the fucking business, one of the best parts of the business is helping somebody else get over. And Wardlow is very clearly over, and MJF has heat. And people are going to be looking forward to seeing Wardlow beat the shit out of MJF. To not give Wardlow that, both as a character and just as somebody you work with, that's really fucking low. I can't vibe with that or anything like that. So I hope he shows. I really do. But if he no shows, you better have one hell of a good reason for this, because I try not to side against corporate power or anything else. You better have a good fucking reason for this, because that to me is.
I'm telling you right now. Here was my prediction. I mean, if he does no show, I think Wardlow's going to come out. They are going to play MJF's music a few times. He's not going to come out, and then they're going to do a countdown, and they're going to count MJF out, say Wardlow is the winner, and he's free from his contract, and end the story line right then and there. Move on with Wardlow as a member of the actual roster. If MJF does show up, though, I don't think we're getting a squash match. I think it's going to be some fuck shit. I think it's going to be some kind of stupid-ass work shoot bullshit. Maybe they make it seem like MJF isn't cooperating, or he starts sandbagging Wardlow or whatever the fuck, and Wardlow has to do some kind of shoot pin on MJF to keep his shoulders down and shit. I think they're going to go full stupid with this shit, because that's how it's been so far, in my opinion.
All right. Very interesting.
All right,
I guess we'll have to see what happens.
I do agree with you, though. I think we both agree, though, unanimously, that Wardlow has to win.
Yes, for sure.
So, and actually, something did cross my mind of, like, what if AEW decide, like, if this is a work, and it's a work in a way to get MJF heat, and they use the idea that Sasha and Naomi walked out as a way to kind of make a new storyline device where MJF walks out, and they turn that into a new, like, heat device where they try and get all the heat on MJF, and they try and do the same thing to him that WWE did to Naomi and Sasha, and they basically make him look bad, and that gets heat on him. And on top of that, they do the whole bullshit of, well, the match couldn't happen, so Wardlow couldn't beat MJF, so he's still technically under contract to MJF, and our hands are tied. That kind of shit.
I would hate that so much for so many reasons that if I got into them, it would take us away from the theme of this company.
I would fucking hate it too, and that's kind of exactly why I fear it, because, like, that's like the worst possible thing that could happen in my mind. I think that's the dumbest shit ever, but I wouldn't put it past them is the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our next match. We only have 3 left, our 2 Owen Hart tournament finals and our world title match. Let's get into the women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament finals first. We have Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho.
I mean, Britt wins. No, well, wait. Let's be careful here for a second, because we have to remember the winner of this gets their choice of a championship match. They could either challenge, going by predictions that we just made, Jade Cargill for the TBS championship, or Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship.
Did we both officially predict Rosa to retain?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
I didn't remember if we actually made that official or not. I feel like we just talked about the match.
That's fair. Yeah, you know what? We might have even just talked about that. So I will lock in Rosa to retain, and I'm assuming you agree.
Yeah.
So now to get back to this, let's look at our options. Britt versus Jade, I just don't see how that works. Britt versus Rosa, obviously they've done it before, but honestly, dude, like you were saying with America's Top Team and Scorpio Sky and Guevara and Kazarian, I feel the exact same way about these two. Keep them away from each other. I've had enough of Britt. Rosa, I want to see what Rosa can do with other people. That's why I like that her first defense was against Nyla Rose, and I thought they both did a great job there. And now the Deeb match I'm obviously hyped for. not everything's about Britt. Now, Ruby, her against Rosa would be very interesting because that would be a first-time matchup to my knowledge, at least for the title. Obviously, we've been checked out. They could have done Soho, Rosa, and I may not know about it, but what have you. Or they could do Soho, Cargill again, running back the actual finals for the TBS Championship before Jade became the inaugural champion. I feel like Ruby has the better matches here, so I wish it was her, but God, cynically, I feel like Britt's going to win this, and we're going to get Britt Rosa again. And it's like, why?
I gotta tell you, man, I've been thinking this for probably 4 days now, pretty much since Dynamite. When everyone was on there, oh, Britt and Adam are winning bullshit. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think Ruby and Joe are winning. And my main reasoning being, we have already seen Britt and Adam versus their respective champions, and we've seen it more than once. We've seen Britt Rosa countless times, and of course, only two of those happened a few months ago. The pay per view match and then the cage match the week afterwards. So we really don't need that shit again. And Adam literally is fresh off of two challenges at Hangman's World title. He doesn't need another one. I think it's got to be Ruby and Joe. I think you need fresh matchups, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised at all if Ruby actually went after Jade because of the fucking name thing. Rubies and Jades, the precious gems, that whole thing.
Yeah, I could definitely see a rematch between those two. And here's the thing, too. For Ruby as a character, and for Britt as a character, let's just look at it. Ruby has straight up said, you've got a receipt coming, Britt. If Ruby doesn't deliver here, then as a babyface, I think she loses credibility because you can't deliver on your promises to beat up the heel, who, granted,
That's
AEW
fair.
fans, they've always got that one person, and maybe it's a couple people who are AEW fans, but I'm just trying to make a point here, where Britt is supposed to be a heel, but it seems like she's really over with them. I personally don't understand it. I try to keep an open mind to Britt at first, as I do with everybody, but she really is their Charlotte, maybe in some ways worse. I don't know. That'd be a conversation for another time.
I think just worse in the sense that she's not athletic like Charlotte is.
Yeah.
Better talker, I will say. Way better talker than Charlotte. But
yes, for sure.
Not as
for
athletic,
sure.
which maybe means worse in the ring. I don't know. They're both pretty fucking mid in the ring at best.
I feel like Britt is so protected as an entity that she can lose here. And honestly, she would still look better than Ruby coming out of it.
Well, yeah,
because AEW is still going to emphasize her.
Featured more than Ruby coming out of it too, because that's just how Tony goes.
And so I hope perversely they recognize that, and it's like, oh, well, we value you more anyway, so we can give Ruby this to kind of feign, valuing somebody else and still like emphasize you in all the bigger angles and stuff like that. So shockingly, I think I'll join you. I'll go with Ruby Soho. Men's, though, when we get to that, which is that right after this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, men's I'm a bit more tentative about. Because here's why I can't co-sign on a Joe, man. I don't feel like they dropped the Lethal Dutt Sutton Singh thing. And I feel like those guys as heels, why would you want to get that guy in a position to challenge for the world title? And I know, because we've talked about this before in the past with other feuds. Smart logic would say, oh, we'll actually let him do all that work, and then Jay or Sutton or myself, we'll either screw him in the world title match. Yeah, but they never do that, man. They never do that. Like, so
I mean, really,
going by
the actual smart thing to do would be to wait and maybe even help him win the title so that you can be the first in line to challenge for it. That's the real smart thing to do.
And again, we've talked about that. And again, they never do that. So, like, going by established wrestling logic, I can't see them letting Joe get a whiff of this win, man. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. I think it's going to be weird. I think it's going to be Ruby. I will agree with you on the women's, but I do think Cole's going to win it, which, God, I don't know, man. I love Adam Cole to death. You fucking know that. But he did lose twice pretty fucking decisively. So you're asking a lot of me here at AEW if you go that route, personally. So I am going to go Cole.
Exactly why I'm picking against him, man. I love Adam Cole. I'm a big fan of Adam Cole. He's one of my do I say faves? He's one of my favorite people to root for. I'll say that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just can't get over the fact that he literally just like a month or two ago had 2 shots at Hangman's world title. He really should not be getting a third one this quickly. And the thing is, it's not just that he got 2 shots; it's that he very obviously lost both of those shots. Like there was no like fuck finish, there was no ambiguity. He just straight up lost both of them to the point that he didn't really deserve the second one either.
Yeah.
So like there's no fucking way he should get a third one. So I got to go with Joe. I got to go with Ruby and Joe, and I'm officially going to predict that Ruby challenges Jade instead of Rosa, and Joe does in fact challenge Hangman. And I love that match. That's fucking amazing to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. As far as like that side of things, like the subjective, what do we want kind of thing, I'm in complete agreement with you. Actually, I think Joe in that world title picture, he has been on one since coming to AEW, and I love it.
And really, I mean, I said and Hangman, but at the end of the day, the other option is CM fucking Punk, and who doesn't want Samoa Joe versus CM Punk again? Who doesn't want to relive that glory?
Yeah, we'll be talking. Actually,
next
we'll be talking about these guys right fucking now.
Yeah.
Paige versus Punk. You know what, man? You've already been kind of on a roll with your opinions here, so let me just field you a question because it got me thinking. I was doing some Twitter skulking today on the AEW side. We think Punk turns heel here and wins the title? What do you think's going to happen here?
I don't know. I don't.
You don't. Okay,
I
interesting.
do get what people are saying. Like people are basically saying like Punk's gonna basically do what he always does and say like, oh, you know, this was his intention all along, was to play the good guy until he got a world title match and then do anything it fucking takes in the world title match to win it, even if it means maybe abandoning some of his quote unquote morals by the wayside. And that was when he does like the whole mask off thing where he's like, oh, this is the real me. How haven't you learned yet? Listen to my song. I'm literally a corrupting force. That's my whole thing. I just don't think that he's going to win the title. I just can't imagine CM fucking Punk of all people in 2022 being the world champion of a major wrestling company. That just doesn't sit right with me.
It doesn't sit right with me. Like, let me speak as an AEW fan, you know, ever since Cody left, and then I'll kind of put my Twitwell voice back on. Paige has been an incredible champion.
Yeah.
I feel a lot about Paige the way that I did with McIntyre when he was having his run on top. The dude's working his fucking ass off. I even saw a photo today. He apparently was reading Dr. Seuss to fucking elementary school kids. So, like, wholesome fucking champion over here. He's working his ass off. He's putting his time in. If I'm an AEW exec, like, I'm proud to have this guy as world champion, right? And, you know, with Punk, it's not that I wouldn't be proud to have him because, I mean, God, what a bold fucking dude deep in the heart of Texas wearing, you know, pro-choice T-shirts and shit, you know, supporting abortion and stuff like that. I mean, the dude speaks his mind, and I think there's something really endearing about that as well. But, you know, Paige feels more like an AEW original. For God's sakes, he was in the first AEW World Title match. He lost to Jericho when Jericho became the inaugural champion. Yeah. So, like, Paige has been there from the jump. And Punk is coming in, and Punk, in his own way, seems like he loves AEW. I mean, hell, it's what got him back into wrestling, for God's sakes. That's huge. It was a long time. I didn't think he would ever come back. But it doesn't sit right with me either, man. I feel like if Punk were to win here, even if it was for a greater story, even if it was for a heel turn, I feel bad for Hangman. And this is coming from the same guy in me that I was just rooting against him for Adam Cole. But even then, like, you know, in hindsight, I'm glad they didn't put it on Cole. Whoever Paige loses to, I want it to really mean something. So I don't know. I don't feel like it really means much here. And the question if Punk turns heel, I'd be for it in a way. Yes.
The more we talk about it, I really, I will, you know what? I'm going to lock it in right now. I am picking Hangman to retain. That is my official prediction. But, that being said, I would not be at all surprised if the people's speculation online ends up happening and Punk turns heel and wins the title, because that fits his character so much. It's almost too good to be true. Like, it's almost too good not to happen.
Like, on the one hand, and again, I already spoke up in Adam Page's defense, so I can put that to the side.
He hasn't had a world title opportunity yet, has he? Punk.
No, this is his first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his first one.
So maybe he's not quite jaded enough yet to do the heel turn and do the whole thing. Maybe he's still kind of kind of living in the afterglow, the still feeling like he's just happy to be here kind of thing, because he's still like, this is literally his first shot, and like, he's playing the whole like, I don't know why you're taking this so personal, man. Like that whole thing with Paige, and Paige is the one that's being aggro as fuck. I don't know, man. I like what I said on Wednesday. I think Paige is gonna fucking brutalize Punk. Like I do think the match is gonna go long because it's fucking AEW main event, so of course it is. But I do think that it's gonna be very, very one-sided towards the end of the match. I think we're gonna basically get to a point in the match where Punk just looks tired. Like his hair is like frazzled. You can see like the bags under his eyes. He's sweat dripping off his nose. And then you look at Paige and he just looks fucking ready. And he just destroys Punk from that point. Because there's just like this stark contrast in the conditioning and athletic abilities of these two fucking guys. And I feel like AEW is really going to want to drive that home. And that might be the catalyst that leads to Punk turning heel. Because it could be like, I clearly can't hang with the best of today's generation. So I need to kind of use some old school underhanded tactics to get where I want to be in the world right now. But I don't think it happens on this show.
Yeah. It's tough to call for so many reasons for me. I mean, you look at it intimately with the two characters involved in the story, and then you look at it more holistically. AEW's pay-per-views are so far apart. How do you keep the story going? Because isn't the next pay-per-view All Out after this? And like All Out is,
I believe, August or September. Yeah,
I want to say September. How do you keep that story going until then?
Well,
so for me,
you got to remember it's AEW. I don't think that they would have a rematch on the next pay-per-view.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Because maybe Joe would get his shot then if he wins the tournament.
No, I'm sure Joe would get his shot earlier. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Omega got his shot on All Out.
Yeah.
And you got to remember too, whoever does win this world title match is probably defending against someone from New Japan in like a month because of Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door, yeah. Oh God.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the winner of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament challenged for the world title before then, so that they could be the one then potentially to defend it against a New Japan guy.
Yeah. Where do I want to go with this? Okay, so we got Paige.
Honestly, if it's Adam Cole, I would almost see him treating it more like a Money in the Bank, and maybe he would hold out until All Out. Maybe that's the play for him. But Joe, I feel like Joe would want to win the title immediately so that he could defend it against a New Japan guy then at Forbidden Door.
Craig, I know you're in the chat. How long has Hangman's reign been? If you could just give me a number on that.
He won it at Revolution, I believe, so that would be like November.
So 6 months practically.
But only two pay-per-view. This is only his second pay-per-view defense.
Damn.
But you're right. It is a 6 month reign. You're right.
Because here's the thing. I was even thinking if, yes, Javaris, I know you say this every time we have a long discussion about a match. Shut your pie hole.
I'm not indecisive. I mean, obviously, this is the thing, Javaris. Just because you get this idea in your head and you just convince yourself that that's the only possible way something can go, doesn't mean that that's how everyone else thinks. I like to think out all the different possible routes that a story could go before deciding which one that I either A, like best, or B, think is the most likely to happen.
I'm literally doing the same thing right now, because what I was going to say was, before I saw that comment, if Punk were to win, I would almost have to feel like Omega would be his biggest challenger as a babyface. But at the same time,
Omega's not a babyface.
Omega's not a baby. Well, here's the thing. When you're going long and you return, that's kind of a turn, unless Omega would get on a mic and denounce the fans anyway, like Seth Rollins did when he came back, or whatever, or like I assume that Bayley probably will do. I don't know. Or
if Don Callis is the one that introduces him when he's coming back.
That is true. That is true, yeah.
Piece of shit.
So I am waiting, and I am thinking about Kenny Omega, honestly, regardless of who wins, because I'm sure he would love a rematch against Hangman. Fuck me. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with CM Punk winning the title. Lock it in. CM Punk's going to beat Paige for the world title. Yeah, I think he's going to turn heel in the match. Because you know what? Paige has been really weird about Punk, and Punk's trying to play it off. He even said, I don't know what your problem is with me, almost seeming coy about it. I'm honestly really starting to buy into that turn heel mid-match kind of speculation. So, and I feel like you don't turn heel unless you're going to be able to take it all the way. So Punk turning heel is going to win the world title. That's my choice. I'm locking that in.
All right, yeah, I get you though, because like then we can even get like the sort of after match story of like Hangman Page was right to be aggro because he fucking knew how Punk was down at his core, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the Double or Nothing card.
Indeed. I guess you want me to close it out?
Absolutely, man.
Has our
Take us home.
discussion changed your hype level at all? Are you still at like an 8.5 ish?
I'd say I'm locking in 8.5. Yeah.
The irony, or I guess the coincidence, I'm locking in an 8. So we both were straddling two numbers, and we both picked the higher number by the end of the discussion. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you all enjoyed our preview and predictions for Double or Nothing. If you did, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, and of course, follow us on Twitter and Twitch. If you would like to support us, you can also subscribe on Twitch, buy our merch on Spring, donate to our Patreon, and share this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends, and let them in on the best kept secrets in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling community. That's right, we are TwitWow, and we are the workhorses of the Y and T WCs, and we hope to see you all tomorrow evening for our live reactions to AEW's Double or Nothing, the show that we just previewed and predicted. We hope that you're able to show up, and most importantly, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.